Yo, what is up guys? This is Pedro here, and in today's video, I will be giving you guys my top 5 free agents that I think the Washington football team should sign, and they all will be at different positions. So if you guys are new, subscribe for Washington and NFL content. So let's get right into the video. And remember, something to keep in mind, I'm doing 5 players at all different positions, and they are positions of need for the Washington football team. So right now, entering free agency, the Washington football team has around $43 million in cap space, but that could change if Alex Smith retires or if we decide to move on from him, and we can make a few other cuts to make some more room. So we have currently the 5th most cap space, and if we make some moves, we could go all the way up to number 4. So we have a lot of cap space to make some big moves in free agency. And like I said, our biggest needs are probably at the wide receiver position, linebacker position, quarterback position, of course, and there's some other positions sprinkled in there that I'll talk about in the video. So the first player on this list is Curtis Samuel. I think it would be great to sign Curtis Samuel, and again, I think Allen Robinson obviously is a better player, but I think Curtis Samuel is a better fit, and of course, he is going to be a cheaper option for us than someone like Allen Robinson, and he's more likely to come here because of his familiarity with Ron Rivera and Scott Turner. If you look at his stats this year for the Carolina Panthers, played in 15 games, 851 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns, so he did miss one game, but he's been relatively healthy for his career, and he's also a rushing threat. This year, he had 41 rushing attempts for 200 yards, 5 yards per carry, and 2 touchdowns, but if you look at his numbers in 2019 with Scott Turner and Ron Rivera there, he only had 19 carries, but he was able to rush a lot more efficiently under Scott Turner with 6.8 yards per carry and a touchdown. So this year he had over 1,000 yards from scrimmage and had 5 touchdowns. Had a really good year, and I think this would be the perfect complement to Terry McLaurin. 850 yards receiving, solid numbers right there. He also is a threat a little bit in the run game, like I said. We don't need a really elite wide receiver alongside Terry McLaurin. We just need someone that can also attract attention, or if Terry's getting double teamed, that he can still be able to produce, because right now, Cam Sims is alright, but besides that, we really have no proven options, and Curtis Samuel is another really little thing, but he did go to Ohio State, so he does have some chemistry with Terry McLaurin at that wide receiver position. But I think this would be a perfect fit because, he would be, like I said, a perfect complement to Terry McLaurin. He's a relatively cheap option, and the most important thing, he fits what Scott Turner wants, and he knows the offense, which is very important. So the next player on this list is Lavonte David at that linebacker position, and it's going to be interesting to see, do we address the linebacker position in free agency or in the draft, or in both? I think Ron Rivera, he's been on record saying the linebackers did not play well, especially at certain points in the season. He said they were a big reason why our defense wasn't great in the run game, and he says we do need that middle linebacker. So we'll see what happens if it's in free agency or in the draft, but Lavonte David has had an outstanding career. If we were to sign him, it would probably be a short-term deal, maybe 2 to 3 year deal. I forgot to say it earlier with Curtis Samuel, but that would be more likely like a 4-year deal. But for Lavonte David, this year, he's always been healthy. Every season he's played 13 or more games. This year, played 16 games, started all 16 games, had 1 interception, 6 pass deflections, 3 forced fumbles. So he forced 4 turnovers this year. That is very good. Had 2 fumble recoveries, had a sack and a half, and had about 117 tackles. And if you look at the advanced numbers, I always like to do this with the linebackers. He did allow a 75% completion percentage, which is not great, but he didn't allow a really high pass rating, 93.4. That's about average for linebackers, so he's okay in coverage. Not the best, but definitely better than what we have right now. Definitely better than John Bostic, in my opinion, at covering. And he's a very good tackler. This year, He had a missed tackle rate of 7.9, which is above average. And yeah, he can rush the quarterback a little bit too, so I think he would be a great fit. It's just a matter of fact, or it's just a matter of if we're going to spend money in free agency on a linebacker, or we're going to go ahead and use one of our first picks on a linebacker. It's going to be very interesting to see. Levante David, though, is going to demand a lot of money, so let's see if Ron Rivera is willing to pay the big bucks. So next is a tight end, and I don't think this is a huge need, but what I do think is, though, we need a backup tight end, and Gerald Everett is actually would be one of the best backups in the NFL. Him and Tyler Higbee kind of split that role this year. In 16 games, had 41 catches for 417 yards and 1 touchdown, so had a pretty good year. And really, we just need a backup, and that could be addressed in the draft, in the middle of the draft, rounds 4 to 5. But the thing is, someone like Gerald Everett, you know what you're going to get. And, the thing that is really important about a backup tight end, we were very fortunate this year that Logan Thomas was able to stay healthy for 16 games, but say something happens to him next season, we need someone that can go in there and be a solid contributor, and he can be more than that if he's given the role. And him and Logan Thomas would split a bunch of reps, but I would really, really like this, and it would allow us to do some more 2 tight end sets. So I would really, really want to sign. Johnny Smith is another guy, but I really think he's going to want a starting role, and I don't know if he's going to settle for us at that spot. So the next position is cornerback. I do think we need to address this, and this cornerback, William Jackson from the Bengals, he actually had a really, really good year. He started 14 games, played in 14 games, had 1 interception. Here's the biggest thing, though. He allowed a 51.4 completion percentage, and 88 pass rating, which is pretty good, but the completion percentage is really good, and he was going up against the number 1 receivers all the time, so that is very, very impressive by him. I would be really happy if we were able to get him. Our secondary this year we were the second ranked secondary, but really that was more of a product of our defensive line more so than our secondary. Secondary was definitely better than I expected, but I still think we have some holes there, and especially if we're not able to re-sign Ronald Darby, which I do think we will be able to, but nonetheless, I do think we should go ahead and sign someone like William Jackson. Not going to be too expensive, which is a good thing, because we do have a lot of cap space, but we're going to have to save some of that for future deals, especially with our D-line. So this is a little bit controversial. At the quarterback position, I picked Dak Prescott, and the reason why I said I would do it at the biggest positions of need, and if you look at the free agency class this year, besides Dak, there really isn't anyone that's that great. You got Phillip Rivers, you got Mitch Trubisky, you got Jameis Winston, but that's really it. So that's why I'm choosing Dak. But besides that, Dak has been a very good quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys this year. Obviously had that ankle injury, 5 games, 1,800 yards, which is absolutely insane. 9 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. And here's one thing I'll say about the quarterback position. If you look at the 4 final teams in the NFL playoffs, you got the Kansas City Chiefs, you got the Buffalo Bills, you got the Green Bay Packers, and you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All of those teams have elite quarterbacks, and that's what it takes to go far in the playoffs. And we'll see if Dak Prescott is an elite quarterback. He's definitely top 10, though, and he's also somewhat mobile, which is what Ron Rivera and Scott Turner like in a quarterback. He has 24 career rushing touchdowns, and I think he would be great. Again, though, the biggest thing with him is the money. How much money are we willing to give him? Because if you give him $35-40 million, then you're really hindering your ability to pay your young studs at that D-line position, maybe Gibson, McLaurin. It's going to be hard to pay all those guys if you go out in free agency and spend big money on Dak Prescott. Also, of course, if you sign Dak Prescott for $40 million a year, you're not going to be able to sign most of these other guys I talked about. And of course, we don't even know if Dak Prescott's going to reach free agency, because the Cowboys are most likely going to try to re-sign him. But again, I think if they disrespect him one more time with an offer, that let's say they offer him like $30 million and he feels like he's worth 38, then I really think that he might say that's it and try to find a new home. So again, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please smash that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and turn on those post notifications so you never miss a video. Let me know what you guys think about these 5 free agents. Obviously, there's better free agents at those positions, especially like someone like Allen Robinson, but I think Curtis Samuel would be a great fit and would be much cheaper. So yeah, let me know any videos you guys want to see, and peace.